welcome back in. Time for Fire Field Vision, powered by NovaCare. The Chicago Fire get ready to take on DC United this coming Saturday, 7:30 at Toyota Park. And guys, after a win in Montreal and a 1-1 draw, this is a game where you need 3 points. It's getting late in the season, only 6 games remaining. You need to get out there. Home field, you need to get the 3 points.
Definitely. But, you know, the one thing, and we talked to Dax, is that you have to expect a difficult match. That's the thing. You know what you're going to get from DC. They've made some changes to their roster. They're going to be hardworking. They're going to be organized. They're going to be committed all the way to the end. Having said that, they're still a team that they give up a lot of goals. I mean, it's, 46 goals against. I think the third bottom in the league with that. I think there's issues centrally, Paul, with Sarvas, and I know they brought the new player, Canus, but I still feel that in transition, when you can attack the out wide, and then you have those late runs from the midfield. They're not easy to track, whether it's dealing with crosses in the box with Birnbaum and Opari. I think they've given up a lot of goals, but also for balls out wide that you can cut back and have late runs from centrally. It's very difficult. Sarvas is a little bit older. He still brings a lot of energy, but a lot of times he's all over the field and leaves Canus by himself with a lot of space to cover. So the opportunities will be there, whether it's centrally or out wide for the Fire to overload those wide areas and then just put some dangerous balls in the box.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this DC United team, and obviously they made a lot of changes, but I still think there are areas for the Fire to attack, and you hit on one of them. And for me, that's getting up the wing and causing problems for their fullbacks. DC United's rotated a lot of different guys in right back and at left back. I think Nick De Leon is back there now. They got Sean Franklin back out there now. We know he's lost a step. I like Sean Franklin against David Accam as a matchup. I like it even more when Brandon Vincent is getting forward and overlapping. I think on the other side, you'll take Matt Polster and Solignac up against Nick De Leon, who's a natural midfielder who is trying to play left back now after playing right back at certain points in his career. So I think absolutely you're going to look for quick transitions out on the wings, working up the sideline, and then, yes, that late run through midfield has to be there because Sarvas gets lost because he's constantly running, but he runs sometimes without a purpose. And I think Canus is still getting a feel for where he should be. I think he was brought in to be the guy who is on the ball a little bit more, who pairs with a Sarvas type, but he hasn't really fit into that role quite yet. And I think that late run through the midfield is a space where somebody like, if Bastian's playing or Juni with that long distance shot is going to have a chance, but whoever plays underneath there will have some opportunity.
Yeah, and we could just see the success that the Fire had in their first match. I think that, because of the outside backs, I mean, if it's Franklin on one side or De Leon on the other, or if it's Korb like in his first match, they do push forward a lot. So the opportunity on the break for the players, whether to make those runs in the channels or for those overlapping runs. And then I think the center backs have had a difficult time, Paul, just dealing with crosses. Even in the last game against Orlando, anytime they got out wide with service in the box, they both get caught kind of ball watching, especially when you play those early balls behind them, and now they got to turn in a way where you got to see the ball coming in, but you lose track of your guys. I think they've given up a lot of goals, and it shows. I mean, 46 goals against, that's a lot of goals. They do give up a lot of opportunities, and this is a team that the Fire team right now, they have a lot of weapons that can hurt you. Nikolic scored, but, Delu has gotten some good spots. Solnick has gotten some good spots. And then Schweinsteiger, the first match, if he comes back and play in this match, was a guy that had a big influence with Dax in the midfield, especially once they won that ball and to be the ability to play that first ball out of pressure and go forward and hurt them in the areas where they left space occupied. And then, following with those late runs like we talked about centrally, the opportunities will be there. This is the game that the Fire have to win.
And look, you brought it up with the center backs. I mean, Steve Birnbaum was very good last year. He's regressed this year. Opari's come in and done a decent job. He is what he is. And I think they're big guys, so you wouldn't think that they'd be susceptible at center back. But they're big guys who don't necessarily move very well. And Frank, as a striker who can poach in the box, sometimes as a forward who thrives on movement in the box, you like big center backs, because you can do that quick little step to the near post and then peel off the back shoulder, and they have a harder time reopening their hips and moving with you. There are some moments I think they're going to be there for Nikolic to make a little run for the center back and then a run for himself to get into that space. So service into the box is key, and I don't necessarily mean service in the air. It might be service coming across on the ground for one-touch finishing. And Dax touched on this. We've touched on this. Efficiency in front of goal is going to be very important in this game. Bill Hamid is one of those goalkeepers on a good day. He can keep DC United in any game. You have to be efficient in front of goal. If you have a good opportunity, put it in the net.
How do you see, I mean, Michael DeLue has a yellow card accumulation. He will not be playing in the game this coming Saturday. Who do you see filling in? Do you see Solinek starting? You see maybe Alvarez come in and start?
I mean, look, I mean, I think in a game like this, because I think the Fire are going to have a lot of the ball, I think maybe DC United is going to be a team that's going to sit a little bit back and then see if they can counter on them. I think I like Arturo's game because he has the ability to beat guys off the dribble. He's very smart at combining. He's got an unbelievable shot. He changes up his game, and he makes it very unpredictable to really mark, you know. And I feel that he brings that quality in the final third that's been missing a little bit.
And I think there's two things about Arturo's game that are strengths of his that fit really well against this DC United team. He loves, when he's playing on the right, to come inside to his left foot, and he plays a really nice curling ball into the box that drops onto players' feet. I think that's a type of ball that would be really effective against this DC United backline. In addition, when he cuts in, that causes problems for that fullback. They have to make a choice. Do I go with them or do I stay in this space? Because Matt Polster can overlap into the space that Arturo leaves, and now you have that 2-on-1 where it's either you're worried about the in-swinging ball from Alvarez or he's playing it out to Polster for the ball coming in from the outside.
And he does a very good job joining in late on crosses. That's very hard to mark, you know, those diagonal runs that could be very effective.